Hi, welcome back to the Maria Montessori project. I wanted to give you a quick update on where I am in imagining how I'm going to bring this story of the life of Maria Montessori to the stage. I got some inspiration this week from a production at the Lookingglass Theatre in Chicago of Treasure Island. It's a new adaptation of the book by Robert Louis Stevenson, done by Mary Zimmerman, who's a ensemble member at Lookingglass. And I'm fortunate enough that my Raven Foundation has a relationship with Lookingglass where we do talkbacks and panel discussions and so on the show. So I was there on Wednesday with friend and Raven board member Andrew McKenna, who's going to be doing a talkback on November 1st, and my husband Keith. So we went to see the show. And I have to say, just vaguely remember the storyline from. I must have read the book as a kid and seen the movie, but it really got me thinking about the problem that I think I have, or not the problem, the challenge I have with the Maria Montessori story is how to represent children on stage, and not just children, but Maria's relationship with children and her almost mystical understanding of the way in which children are connecting us to the future. That's that cliche, children are the future, but she understood how each child is sort of equipped with the ability to create the human adult that they're going to become. And as they're creating themselves out of the raw materials around them, their environment, their culture, their family, they are actually recreating human culture, human history. So she's had this very dynamic, um, hopeful view of the role of children, and very respectful and admiring of children and their role in human society. And a lot of times when kids are on stage, they tend to get, always in that cute kind of response. And the young man who played the narrator of Treasure Island, Jim, what is the character's name? Jim, oh, the young man, Jim Hawkins. That character was played by a wonderful actor, John Francis Babbo, Babbo. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's been at Lookingglass before. Very talented young man, and nothing, that you could sentimentalize about this character, because Jim is he's a swashbuckler in his own right. But it's very interesting because the show opens, the story opens with, Jim's father has recently died, and his mother is in financial difficulties. And the story is, it's a pirate yarn and it's entertaining, but in a way, it's like a child's fantasy about how he can save his mom, really be helpful and find the treasure that will save the tavern and keep his mom out and him out of poverty. So it's a fantasy story, but from a child's point of view. So my mind just was racing. I was up most of the night. I couldn't sleep afterwards because I'm thinking about how well Mary Zimmerman and the Lookingglass crew produced this child's view of the world, on a fabulous stage with a great set and wonderful use of music as well in the show. But also how children can be portrayed on stage, and great how many great child actors there probably are out there that I'm just not aware of. Um, so um, I'm getting ready to talk over the next week, the next 2 weeks, with two people that I want to just alert you to be looking for the videos. One is a friend of mine, Kathy Frost, who's a psychologist, and I want to talk to her just about childhood and childhood fantasy, and also, since it's Halloween, sort of do a bit of a parenting video on dealing with whatever parenting issues get raised for you over kids and trick-or-treating and Halloween and fantasy and play acting and eating too much candy, all those kinds of things. But talking with Kathy about that, and then also talking with my friend and a mimetic theory scholar. Kathy's into mimetic theory as well. Very accomplished psychologist in mimetic theory. But Astell is scholar of medieval literature and mysticism. And I want to talk with her about just what is a mystic, what's a mystical experience, because I want to represent that side of Montessori, because I think it's critical to understand what her insights were and how she came to them about children. She often couldn't find words around them, and how do you represent a mystical experience on stage without being hokey and sentimental? It's probably worse than trying to represent children on stage without being sentimental about them. So I don't really know much about mystical experiences. Can't say I may have had one as a child, but don't we all? So I want to talk with Anne about that next week, and I'll be talking with Kathy as well about children and also the role of fantasy in the Montessori classroom, because that becomes sometimes a point of critique of the Montessori method, that there's not enough imaginative play in the classroom. So we'll talk with Kathy about the role of imaginative play in childhood. And I'm particularly interested in any questions that you might have for either Kathy or Anne about children, childhood, Halloween, mysticism, anything like that. So I look forward to the next time, and thank you so much for watching.